Boom. Hi. Okay. I know literally nothing about bionicles, but I Googled bionicle lore today because I've heard that bionicle lore is actually pretty deep. And I found this summary, a synopsis of the bionicle storyline, but it's still too long for me, so I read it and I took notes, and now I'm going to explain it to you as best as my patience possibly will let me. All right, so Bionicles. It's all vaguely based in Hawaiian Polynesian lore, right? So season one, it's a big expository. There's six guys, six Toa. They wash ashore, and they're like they find out that they have masks, and each one is for an elemental power. There's fire, water, stone, earth, air, and ice for some reason. Um, Anyway, they decide to, for some reason, they have to find five other masks so they can all have the elemental powers. But then they learn about the bad guy, Makuta Pterodax, who is always there. It's pretty much always Makuta when there's stuff going wrong. Anyway, they find their masks, and then they have all six powers, and then they're gonna fight Makuta. But Makuta's super strong, and they find out they make the gold mask, which can do all of the elemental powers at once, and then they fight Makuta. But since it's season one, um, they don't kill him permanently. They something happens, and then it sets up for season two. Season two is about bugs, insectoids, bugs. Anyway, the bugs that are like they're evil and they're eating everything because they're bugs. Um, Anyway, what their thing that they do is they replace their masks with evil masks that are like mind controls. And one of the six main guys, I guess he goes back to his village and he gets tricked, and then he has an evil mask on. Anyway, the other guys go back and save him. They go back and save him, and then they decide we're gonna attack the bug lair. And as they attack the bug lair, they find new armor that you can purchase. Everything here is all about, just keep in mind, everything here is all about selling a new piece of merch to the kids. And I'm sure when I was 10, if I was into this, I'm sure that I would have been all upon this and my parents would have hated me. Anyway, they find this new armor that they can wear, but then they go fight the queens of the bugs, but then they realize they don't need the armor. And then they defeat the queen, but then they all get energized and turn into new forms of themselves, which you can also buy. It's all about the merch here. All right, this is where it gets really complicated. It uses a lot of names that I did not care to follow up on or click on. Um, but here we go. Season 3. All right, let me look at my notes here. All right, so season 3. There's six evil bugs, and they steal the Toa masks. Oh yeah, these things. There's six evil bugs, and they steal the Toa masks. But they want to use the masks to awaken an ancient beast. And the Toa are like, oh, well, they're like, oh, let's let our power flow through our symbols. But then the evil bug guys, they can't handle their power and they get destroyed. Anyway, on to the next thing. Suddenly, there's a new season, or there's new something. There's a new event that happens, and they reveal a mask of light. And then there's a big arc about the mask of light. Stuff happens. Someone dies. They have the big mask of light scene, and then someone sacrifices themselves, and it's all very sad. But then the mask of light gets controlled. And then they find out. Oh wait, there's older Toa that are better than you. Season 4, or 2004 and 2005. This is all literally backstory. I have to admit, it was very hard for me to even remotely care about all this backstory. Because once again, all this backstory is literally just to sell new gear! Alright, anyway. So, it's basically season 1 again. Right, it's all expository, except this time it's all about discs that you can fire out. Right, and remember my friend had one of these little discs that you can fire out at each other. Anyway, alright, let's see. There's discs, there's a great disc, there's a disc of time or disc of power. Oh yeah, disc of time I see down there. But anyway, haha, just kidding. Makuta's still around. Makuta Pterodax, he's a big bad guy there back in the past. Anyway, the old Toa, the old-timey Toas, they get trapped. 6 get trapped by Makuta, but then they escape, and the other half are in prison, but then they escape. Um, blah blah blah. Lots of stuff happens, fights and whatnot. Um, and then they reveal a new mask that has the power of invisibility, which I'm sure that was a big point of contention among the 10-year-olds back then. Where they're fighting with their little figures. They're like, "No, you can't see me. I have my mask of invisibility." And then the other one is trying their hardest to make it seem like they're not. Anyway, Pterodax shows back up. He's always there. He wants to steal them, but someone tricks him and retraps him, and then they seal him all away. 2005, still backstory, fun. Anyway, there's new spider guys. There's new spider bad guys, and they capture the old timey good guys, the Toa, and they get brought to an arena, a coliseum or whatever. But then they get mutated into a new piece of gear that you can buy, a new piece of merchandise that you can buy. Obviously, not obviously. They want to escape. They want to mutate back, so they go to find out. They're like, oh, we want to find the guy who knows how to turn us back. But the queen of the bad guys tricks one of the good guys, the leader of the good guys, into turning sides, and then shit happens. He goes and tricks the other good guys and captures them, but then they escape. Shit happens again. He decides to turn back to the good sides. There's a fight in the Coliseum. Turns out the king of the spiders is, he's a pussy. He won't fight anything. He's only good at commanding. Blah blah blah. They beat the bad guys. And then but the last thing, of course, in the fight, they free Makuta. And then flashback to present day. Season 6. I guess this is all about a floating island. There's a new floating island, and they have to go there because, there's dark Toa canisters that show up, and the dark Toas pretend to be good Toas, except they use it to be because they want to find the new mask, the mask of life. But then, so while the bad Toas are tricking people, the good Toas come to the island to find the mask of life so they can save a great spirit. But then once they get there, it's probably early in the movie or whatever season, so they get pwned by the bad Toa, the Parakas. All this, I guess they introduce a new group of people who are in charge of saving the captured good guys. Stuff happens. There's this cool guy who is 2 different people. Here's the guy. Here's like Spider Monster. I definitely would have wanted to buy that shit. Anyway, so what happens? They go to a new realm where there's no light, and then they go from that realm to a different place in the realm, and then they make new Toa canisters and escape this realm. But while they're escaping, they get struck by lightning, the lightning of the red star, and become new, improved versions of themselves that you can buy. There's a fight. They're fighting over something. Yeah, I wrote notes, and they go, and once again, right away, they set up for the new season, the new area. Season 7 introduces the Baraki, a new kind of bad guys that you probably could buy. Makuta comes and he fucks them up. He fights them and imprisons them for 80,000 years. Oh yeah, this is all backstory, by the way. There's a big landmass that breaks off into the ocean, and there's something. Anyway, oh god, stuff's happening. There's a lot of names here. A lot of stuff happens. Let's see what I take. Oh yeah, the bad guys take control of the Mask of Life, but then the guy who's guarding it realizes that he can kill anything he touches with the Mask of Life. So he leaves with it, but then the good guys find the guy who stole the mask, and they fight him. They get the good mask, but then Makuta shows up again somehow because he was inside the spirit of a robot, and someone sacrifices himself to get the mask, or to something, the Mask of Life. And then stuff ends. There you go. What happens? Oh yeah, he dissolves. Anyway. Alright. 2008, I guess it's a something. But we're back to those old guys, the Toa Nuva. But of course, there's new forms that you can buy. Anyway, there's two groups of the Toa. There's one group that is charged of saving the villagers, and they want to go fight Makuta. And then the other group, they want to go find the six keystones of something on how to save Mata Nui. He's important, I think. Anyway, they find all six pieces and they make a codex. But then once they make the codex, they find there's new vehicles, so which you can buy. There's new vehicles, and then, all right, let's see. Here we go. Keep them going. They travel in a new vehicle for sale. They battle the bad guy, and once again, someone sacrifices himself to save Mata Nui. But Mata Nui gets put in a meteor or something and gets launched into a new world as Pterodax. Pterodax is now evil and he's taking over. He's going to be the master of the universe. Anyway, oh gosh, where are we? Anyway, season 9, it starts on a new planet, Bara Magna. And on this new planet, there are six tribes: for sand, water, fire, ice, earth, and jungle for some reason. Of course, there are new bionicles to sell. This time they're called the Glatorian, who carry a Thornax launcher. Anyway, so there's 6 tribes, and they fight over stuff. Except one of them is bad. One of the tribes is bad, and they will fight dirty, and fight in the arena is wrong, and they're pissing off everyone else. And then there's a big tournament that they hold every year, but the Skull, the bad tribe, they attack, and then they break the rules and they kill the Glatorians. Anyway, Mata Nui shows up inside. Remember, Mata Nui was in the old world. He shows up from on his meteor, and he forms himself a new body, which I'm sure you can buy. Oh my gosh, what happens then? Mata Nui shows up. Basically, all this stuff is him being like, hey, we should team up. And then all the villagers are like, no, I don't want to team up with the other guys. And then we're like, oh, we should team up for real. And they're like, okay. They all form together and they form a giant robot. 2010, now that they have this giant robot, they want to use this giant robot to combine with 2 other giant robots to fix the world or something. But yeah, one tribe is evil. Yeah, let me scroll pages on my notes here. He wants to find the power source so he can find the robots. And the good guys, they find a golden armor, but right as they want to use it, what's his name? Oh my gosh, there's so many names. Makuta scatters the golden armor pieces, and then there's a whole section where they're finding the armor pieces, fighting in there. Guess what? They pick up the armor pieces just as they get it just in the lick of time. Oh, and what? Oh right. Oh, I lost track of there. They find the armor pieces. Makuta gets fucked up. He gets fucked up for good. I think he dies for real this time. And then they take the 3 robots and they combine them all. And with the last powers of the robot, they make the desert flourish, so it's all habitable again, and the world is saved. And then Mata Nui fucks off, and the inhabitants can start a new social system without his influence. I don't know what that means, but maybe they won't be shitty tribes to each other. Anyway, 2011. I guess they discontinued Bionicles in 2010. So this is all canon, but there's so many names in here. I'm just so over it. Anyway, I'm sure all of this stuff would be very fascinating if I was 10 and experiencing this slowly over years instead of hurriedly in one afternoon, as I can feel my patience dripping with each one. I think after 2005 was when stuff started getting pretty busy, or pretty difficult. Anyway, that's my summary of probably the Bionicle lore. So I wonder if any of it is accurate. I really have no idea. All right, bye.